Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the indexes, we're going to take a look at some ETFs, we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector, and a couple of individual stocks. So first up, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. As you can see, it closed down nearly 1% today. So yeah, it did form the big engulfing red candle here. So it looks like a bearish engulfing reversal pattern formed. So you can see the red candle today is engulfing the previous white candle. Yeah, so the bottom line is it closed also below the 100-day simple moving average at 24854. That's the gold line. It needed to stay above that level. If that level turns into resistance, then it could consolidate. The next support level is going to be, you could see this gap fill here. There's a gap between high of day and this candle, low and day on this candle. So it dropped down to 24768. The EMA 8 there would fill the gap. That's the level that it's been bouncing off of. So look for a technical bounce off that level tomorrow. Would signal more downside risk if it broke. As you can see here, today the chart was breaking down. We put out some alerts, and then I put out an alert when there was a break here below the green line, which was the 50 simple moving average, and that was your signal that the chart was really breaking down. It had already broken below the middle Bollinger Band here, the dotted purple line, and was failing to get above, so that was a red flag. And then when it got below the green line, it really started moving to the downside. And so the close was all the way down here at the 200 simple moving average. If it fails to hold that level, 24825, then you could see a drop down to this 300 simple moving average at 24720. You could see the top of the gap is down here at 24780 in that zone. Okay, let's look at the Russell 2000. So yeah, the small caps really cooled down today. They formed the bearish engulfing reversal pattern as well. So you've got the strong reversal pattern here. Notice that the today's close was right there, just below EMA 4 at 16180. It needs to get back above that level. That's the first close below EMA 4 since way back here when the chart had gotten, when it had dropped below that middle Bollinger Band. So that is a red flag. It needs to get back above that level. If it fails to, then EMA 8 at 160.92 will be on deck. You can see it bounced off that level last time. If that were to break, that's when it could really consolidate. As long as the middle Bollinger Band way down here at 157.80 is holding, that uptrend is still intact. Okay, let's look at SPX here. This is the S&P 500. Yeah, so as you can see, you've got the same engulfing candle. You can see the red candle engulfing the white candle. It came up here and it was working on breaking high close resistance. That's the key level to break, is the closing price on this black candle right here on the 14th. It needs to get above that 2730 level to head higher. It's still holding EMA 4 at 2723. As long as it's staying above those levels, I mean, this uptrend is still very strong and still totally intact. All right, so it's not, there's no need to panic or anything like that. It just looks like it's taking a pause here. The big levels, the 100-day simple moving average at 2709. Now, if that broke, then it really could consolidate, and you could see that 2687 tested. Similar to back here in April, when it got above the 100-day simple moving average and it broke, that's when it came all the way back down to the 200-day simple moving average. So it's really important it stays above this gold line. That's the line in the sand, because the downside risk is, the last couple times that the gold gold line's broken, it's gone all the way down to the 200. Right here it bounced off of the 100-day simple moving average, so that's what you're looking for here. It bounced off of that and a push higher. Okay, so let's look at Nasdaq. This is ticker symbol NDX here, and so you've got the red candle as well. It's engulfing a black candle, so this isn't the bearish engulfing pattern, but it is a red flag here. You've got the the chart is trying to hold support here. It's all about holding that 6.889 level. That's the line there, and then holding the 6.864 level. If it could stay above EMA 13, that would be bullish. If they break, then you could see it drop down to 6.798. That's the middle Bollinger Band there. And so to the upside, it's got to break above this high close resistance level. It's got to get above this zone here in order to break out higher. If it fails to do so, you could see it continue consolidating. It's just been in a sideways channel here. You can see it's just been channeling sideways, and so a break above resistance, going to signal it wants to head higher. If it breaks below support here, then you could see that middle Bollinger Band and possibly that 50 and 100-day simple moving average tested. Okay, let's look at the energy sector here. This is ticker symbol XLE, and so as you can see, it formed a red candle today as well. 2 days ago, or on Friday, it formed the bearish Harami reversal pattern, the red candle or inside of the white candle, and so that pattern was confirmed today with today's red candle, and so there was a close below EMA 4. That was the first close below EMA 4 since, I mean, you know, these are right at EMA 4. I mean, you really have to go way back here to April to see a close like today, and so this is a signal that you know, it's taken a breather, and you just have to watch out for a pullback. If it breaks below EMA 8 at 7763, it could pull back and test this EMA 13 at 7688 level. You can see that's where it bounced off of earlier in May, and so that's the downside risk. As long as it's holding the middle Bollinger Band at 769, that uptrend's intact. If that were to break, then it could get a downtrend going, similar to back here in January and February. So I mean, with oil prices where they're at, I mean, unless oil really corrects, you know, this would still be bullish, but you just have to follow the charts. Okay, let's look at the financial sector here. This is ticker symbol XLF, and then yeah, so this actually was bucking the trend, and it had a bullish day today. So as a lot of things were under pressure, the financials, the banks did well, and they actually closed above resistance. There was a close above the 100-day simple moving average at 2832, just slightly above. If it can stay above that level, then it can push higher. If it drops back below, you know, it's going to keep consolidating, similar to how it's been. You know, there's been a channel, you know, in between, you know, these two levels, and so it's basically, it's got to break above. It did today. It needs to stay above that level, and then it could push higher. There's an unfilled gap up here, you know, up to where that upper Bollinger Band is at 286, and so that would be the upside target. Yeah, so it has an uptrend going. It's above the 50-day simple moving average. We'll see if it can stay above the 100-day simple moving average and keep pushing higher. Okay, let's look at the marijuana sector here. This is ticker symbol MJ, closed up over 1% today. As you can see, it did form a red candle, so it's taken you know, closed down 1% today. It's taking a breather today. It had closed yesterday above that 200-day simple moving average. That's the red line, and so that was a bullish close. It needs to get back above at 3089. It is holding EMA 4 at 3063. As long as that pink line's holding, the chart's still super strong. If it breaks, you know, you could see the 300 tested. It's all the moving averages are lined up here except for the 100-day simple moving average that's above, and so if it can get above the 200, and then what you're looking for is a break above that 100-day simple moving average at 3181. Once it could do that, then the chart would be super bullish again. Right now it's working on turning all these key levels into support. We'll see if that 200-day simple moving average and that 31 level turns into resistance. That would be a red flag. Okay, let's look at Canopy Growth here, ticker symbol TWMJF, getting ready to be ticker symbol CGC on the New York Stock Exchange before the end of the month, so that's really coming up. It's had a big run into the expected uplisting. You can see right now it trades over the counter, and it also trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange, ticker symbol WEED, and you can see it's got a nice uptrend going. As long as the EMA 4 at 2909 is holding, that uptrend is intact. If it closes below, you could see a drop down to EMA 8 at 2744. It's all about staying above this middle Bollinger Band and 50 and 100-day simple moving average down in that 2450 support zone. As long as that's holding, you know, this uptrend is intact. It's trying to break out right now. You know, it broke out of the top of this multi-month channel. You can see it had a channel going here, and yeah, it was able to break out of the top of it, and so that was on Friday, and then it's pushing higher now. So now it's getting up to these resistance levels. What are we looking at here? We're looking at just a couple of key levels to break. You know, if it can get at 32 and 34, if it can close above 34, that's going to be an all-time new high close. It looks like it's trying to head back to 34. That's where, you know, as long as EMA 4 is holding, the signal is to keep riding. You know, if it breaks, that's when you could get a chance to reload lower. Okay, let's look at ACBFF. This is Aurora Cannabis. You know, this is the arguably the #2 cannabis company in the world, and if they do merge with or take over MedReleaf, then the combination of the two would actually they would have a market cap that would surpass Canopy Growth. And so this is the major player. You know, this and Canopy Growth are the two big dogs. And so what's going on here in the chart is it did get above that middle Bollinger Band on Monday. We were looking for a break above that level for several weeks. You could see all these candles were hitting that middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line, and failing to get above. Finally, yesterday there was a break above, and so that's our clue. The chart is heating up. It tried to turn that level into support back here in April, and it failed to, and it continued consolidating. So what you're looking for now is that middle Bollinger Band to hold at 616, and then a break above the 50-day simple moving average at 674. If it can get above that level, then it could run up to that 100-day simple moving average at 801. That would be the big level to break. You can see it topped out in March at that 50-day simple moving average and failed to break and pulled back. So if it can close above and then stay above, that's when you're going to know that ACBFF is ready to go. Aurora Cannabis, you know, it closed above on March 6th, but it failed to stay above, and that signaled it wasn't ready to go. So you're looking for a bullish change in trend here. Notice there has been good volume down here, so people have been loading. All right, so we'll see if it can push higher. Freya, ticker symbol APHQF. This is another top dog Canadian company. It's a takeover candidate, and so you want to keep an eye on this stock. It has a good uptrend going. That's good volume down here. You can see the big volume spike on the takeover target, potential target news, that there were a lot of talk last week about that. And so what it's doing now is it's trying to push higher. What it has to do is get above high close horizontal resistance, which is the top of the candle on the 15th, the closing price on the 15th. And so if it can get above this level, you can see how all these candles are testing it. Once it breaks above, then it should get a run up to that 100-day simple moving average at 1136. That's the next target. With the upside potential for the stock, it seems like it's a no-brainer to head there, but you still have to follow the charts. It needs to stay above the 50 and 200-day simple moving average, that 9 support level, to keep this good uptrend going. Okay, let's look at Kronos Group, ticker symbol CRON. It did close down 5% today. This trades on the Nasdaq, so this is the big board options trading, pure marijuana play, and Canopy Growth is going to be the first New York Stock Exchange, but the Canopy, cannabis company. But this is the first cannabis company to trade on a big board. I mean, there is ticker symbols like GWPH, but these guys are the cultivators, and so you've got this pullback after breaking above the middle Bollinger Band yesterday. It's working on turning that dotted purple line into support. As long as it can stay above 617, then the uptrend is intact. If it dropped below, that would signal consolidation, that it's not ready to go. And what you're looking for is a break above that green line, the 50-day simple moving average at 673. It got above that level on the 16th of April, and it failed to stay above and pulled back. So once it can get above that level and hold, we'll be looking for a run up to that 100-day simple moving average at 745. Okay, another one to keep an eye on is OGRMF. Okay, and so this is another takeover candidate. Motley Fool did a nice little run-up where they were comparing OGRMF with APHQF, and they thought this was a better value because the share price was lower, something like that. Read the article. They're both high-quality Canadian licensed cannabis companies that will more than likely be bought out at some point. And what's happening is Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis are just taking over the industry, and everybody's getting gobbled up. And so we'll see if the top players keep doing that. This has a very nice uptrend going. It's riding EMA 4 at 382 support higher. As long as EMA's 4 and 8, that 371, the line are holding, the signal is just to keep riding. There's going to be ebb and flows on the way up, but if on the pullback support's holding, it can keep pushing higher. And so what we're looking for is it to retrace back to the recent highs up here at 444. I think that's like the all-time high close for the stock on the daily chart. And so we're looking for that to eventually work its way back up to that level. I mean, it seems logical that it would do that, being a takeover candidate, but you never know what could happen. If it does drop below EMA 8, then it could pull back and test this middle Bollinger Band and the 100-day simple moving average at 341. It needs to hold those levels to keep that uptrend going. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Here's ticker symbol GERN. I meant to have this in the last video. This is one of our plays from today. And so, yeah, this is on a 4-day run. And today it did break above the middle Bollinger Band at 370 and above that 50-day simple moving average at 390, the green line. So the close above, it is a signal that it wants to head higher. It needs to stay above that level. If it dropped back below the 50-day simple moving average, it tests the middle Bollinger Band, and it could just continue trading sideways. What happened is it came up and it hit the top of the channel, which is the closing price here on the 25th of April. It needs to bust through that level, that 420 resistance level, and then it could head higher. If it fails to break that level, it's just at the top of the channel right now, and it could keep working sideways. You know, the bottom of the channel is down here at 325, and the top of the channel is up here at 420. So it's got to break through the top, otherwise the sideways pattern will continue. Okay, so thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, and yeah, just to break it out, if it gets above 420, what we're looking for is a run up here in between this 460 and $5 level. There is a gap, and so you'd be looking for that gap to fill on a move to the upside. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. Come check out the chat. I'll post the link below the YouTube video. Thank